Good evening, attendees. Following the tradition of our web seminars, which we've done with the very gracious permission and support of the Punjab and Haryana High Court Bar Association, we have something today which is inherently divisive. With the COVID lockdown moving from one iteration to another, the issue of courts and whether physical courts should actually open has in effect split down the bar right down the middle. To further discuss this question, and it is a question which I believe has no clear answer, it would be rather rudimentary for any of us to try and reduce it to a yes or no. We have tried today to bring representation from the four corners of the country. We have joining us from Gujarat, senior advocate Mr. Percy Kawana. He is representing the Gujarat High Court Advocates Association. We have Mr. Rohit Sood, who you all will know. He is our secretary at the Punjab Haryana High Court Bar Association. We have Mr. Nikhil Jain, who is our treasurer at the Supreme Court Advocates on Record Association. We have Shri M. Bhaskar from the Madras High Court Bar Association. We also have Mr. Jitin Payang. I think there's an unfortunate technical issue with his video camera, but I believe he is with us on voice. He is representing the Guwahati High Court Bar Association. So what we intend to do today is discuss this issue, see perspectives from the four corners of the country, maybe learn from one another, and try and move forward. How we will proceed today is that we will go around thrice. At the first instance, I would request all our learned panelists to share with the attendees the situation prevailing in their region, particularly the sorry, there was a little bit of background, particularly the plight of advocates in their particular region. Thereafter, we'll come back again and once more, and that is how we will proceed with the seminar. And now, I would request Senior Advocate Mr. Percy Kawana to take the lead and enlighten us about how things are in Gujarat. Mr. Kawana, over to you.
Good evening. It's a Saturday evening, and I'm sure we have better things to do after this seminar, so we'll try and keep it brief. But since we are in the electronic age, let me just talk about this video conferencing is to real law what a kiss emoticon is to real love. Kiss emoticon is a very expressive way of talking on the net with your friend, your girlfriend. You send a kiss. It's not as good as a puppy jumpy which you do personally. Video conferencing is that. I did my first video conferencing. We had our lockdown from 23rd. So I did my first video conferencing around video conferencing matter, video hearing on 25th. And I came out of it appalled. And I've done lots of matters after that. And there has been nothing to change my view. But that I'll talk later about. As on today, I found out, I've canvassed my friends in the lower courts. There is no lower court which is functioning except for some bail matters. That also functions in a really weird way. The judge sits on the days in the court. He has got a TV and a camera, a computer in front of him. The lawyers log in from home, but they strictly take up only bail and anticipatory bail matters. But that's not really the good news, because I was told today, this I've learned from Gujarat and Maharashtra, because I know some people in Maharashtra also. They said even when bail orders are passed and the order contains a note that the authorities can act on an uncertified copy of an internet copy certified by the lawyer, even than the physical task of getting bail, getting the bail bond executed, getting the prisoner released with these different curfew timings, 5 baje, 6 baje, 7 baje, 9 baje. It is causing such a huge disruption that even those orders which are passed by the courts, and now courts are beginning to realize that judicial time is very precious. They take up matters quickly, they don't allow very long arguments, that's plus and minus. But the physical reality is that only criminal work is going on. I essentially practice on the civil and constitutional side. Very little bit of my practice is criminal law. But those are the only matters I've done in the last 2.5 months. So one reality is criminal matters are proceeding at a snail's pace. Civil matters are not proceeding at all. There are some urgent matters, say during the lockdown a stay got vacated, then by a sleight of hand, 15th. वो Monday आएगा, then I don't know what we'll do. Probably we are expecting another extension. But there are no active arguing civil cases really going on. The only non-criminal case going on in the Gujarat High Court are the COVID-related petitions, in some of which I have appeared, and I'm appearing on the 19th, challenging the lockdown per se, challenging this crazy thing that I have to get permission before I get testing done, and something like the Soviet era times when even weather reports were being censored. This is actually a piece of information, the state of my health. So petitions are pending, and I have spoken to young lawyers. Ahmedabad High Court is not as affluent as Delhi, certainly not as affluent as Chandigarh, Delhi, Bombay, all the metros. And we still have some lawyers, many lawyers in our High Court who operate from the High Court premises. उनको जो chamber मिली उसी में से काम करते हैं. They don't have this paraphernalia of scanner and 2-3 devices to have an internet hearing, and they are really feeling the pinch. Our Bar Association has put together a corpus of aid money, but nobody wants to take aid. That's the hell of it. Even if I'm hurting, I don't want to take aid. And pride, self-respect, call it what you will, comes in the way. So the misery of the non-top lawyer passing day. And it is worsened when he's offered, अच्छा तू थोड़ा पैसे ले ले, तो उसको वो नहीं चाहिए. He doesn't want a. So this is the third reality, the second reality, and third reality I found in the Gujarat High Court is that the schism, the division between now become very, very strong and deep. Our president, Mr. Yatin Oza, who has been a lifelong opponent of mine, we've seldom agreed with each other on anything except this, that the sooner physical hearings start, the better. Mr. Oza has given a press conference pointing out what he says are the flaws of the High Court system. A division bench has taken suo motu cognizance of his press conference and issued contempt notice against him. Some of the lawyers support him, some of the lawyers oppose him. Guys like me keep their mouths shut. Mr. Oza has gone to the Supreme Court by filing a SLP against the issuance of notice. And Mr. Oza is also facing the embarrassing prospect of having his senior's gown withdrawn. A separate full court resolution has been shared, and it's been given to him a notice as to why this should not be done. So this crisis, at least as far as I know in the jurisdictions in which I practice, has split the bar. So the judiciary has been reduced to a shadow of its former self. And this, I'll just end with this and hand over back to Abhimanyu. The most serious thing about the COVID lockdown has not been lawyers going hungry or bail orders not being passed. The most serious thing is that a constitutional limb of the government, namely the judiciary, has been brought to its knees by circumstances, by itself, God knows what you call it, but it's now functioning at 7 to 8% of its capacity. And if this goes on for too long, the judiciary will wither and just die. Therefore, even those judges who wish, or lawyers who wish to delay physical hearing, I ask them, and through your medium, I ask everybody, that please let us again become relevant as lawyers, because we have always been champions of the fight against injustice. And if we allow the COVID epidemic to hamstring the judiciary, our country will have died a small death. Okay, everybody. That's all I have to say in the opening remarks.
We'll now go on to Mr. Rohit Sood to give us the perspective on Chandigarh.
Thank you, Abhimanyu. First of all, I thank you for being with our association and arranging these webinars, and today giving me such a good and great opportunity to be here. First of all, without first coming to our High Court of Punjab and Haryana High Court, I must say, Percy sir, that if a contempt notice has been issued to your president, you should be united and be one with him. That is the first thing I would suggest. Though he may be your opponent, but once it comes to your president, you all have to be with him. Yes. I am of that view. Now we have a association, a family of about 10,000 lawyers of High Court here in Punjab and Haryana, which is very closely knit. Now I'll give a little background of the journey. I would say a very unfortunate journey of this COVID and what is our status till now. On 18th of March it started. Nobody knew what is to happen. There was chaos all around. Neither we nor the judges nor the doctors were then sure what is happening. We had a meeting. We decided that the court's physical hearing have to be shut down or it has to be minimized. What transpired that the judges said, and we were one with them, that the 5 lawyers would come every day, one by one, make a mention. And once the mentioning allowed, the physical hearing went on for the initial 4 or 5 days. Then on 22nd of March, it was decided that no physical hearing. Curfew was imposed on 23rd of March and everything came to a standstill. Now, since nobody was prepared for this pandemic, there was a total confusion and chaos as to how the things had to function. So it kept on functioning. Instead of physically mentioning, there was a few telephone numbers given that from 10 to 11 a.m. you could make a mention, and only 6 to 7 matters were being listed through video conferencing. And then the software also, we do not have. Some judges were doing it through WhatsApp app. Somebody was doing it through audio call. Eventually we developed a software. So this went on up till 13th of April. Now 13th of April, we came up with an online mentioning portal. Now there were teething problems to that also. Mentionings were made to utmost urgent cases. The difficulty being faced was some mentionings were being accepted, some were being rejected. Now the cases which were being rejected, there was no reason being given. So which led to a lot of distress and agitation that only the cases of selected few are being listed. Though I personally know it was not the case, because there were some defects in the petition, or some petitions, somebody has not mentioned anything and they were not being listed. Anyhow, this was a stage in April where from 7 cases, about 50 to 20 cases and 3 benches started functioning. Again, in a high court where we have thousands of cases being listed every day, 20 cases, there was a lot of distress and amongst the lawyers. So finally on 3rd of May, the administrative committee of the High Court decided, and now about 300 to 400 cases are being listed every day of all nature. And day before yesterday, an order has been passed of which the ordinary cases will also be filed in our High Court from Monday. Now the difficulty is the cases are being filed, but only 300 to 400 cases are being listed. And we were not well equipped with the voice conferencing system also. we have suggested on 8th of May that a test run of physical courts whereby 1 or 2 courts may be physically started. So whenever it is viable for the physical courts to function, at least a test trial should be done. So that administrative committee has been constituted for that also, and we are awaiting for the order. So this is, Abhimanyu, where we stand as of today.
I would now request Mr. Jain, who is the Treasurer, Supreme Court Advocate on Records Association, to give us an overview of what the Apex Court is doing and how it's functioning.
Thank you, Abhimanyu ji, for calling me in this seminar. I would start with the 20th of March. I was there in the Supreme Court. Thereafter, suddenly on 23rd, the Chief Justice's court sat and they passed an order with regard to limitation with effect from 15th of March 2020. And they said that all limitations, they would extend the limitation. And also they passed an order on 23rd with regard to the under trials because there was a congestion in the prisons. So a high powered committee was constituted. And on that same day, they said that only 2 or 3 urgent matters were listed in the next 2 or 3 days. That was the beginning. Thereafter, what we did was we made a lot of representations and only COVID-19 matters were listed. There was no facility for mentioning either or for filing of cases because e-filing portal was there in the Supreme Court earlier also, but nobody was using it or nobody had the user ID or password. Nobody was bothered actually because it's a tedious job. Nobody was picking up the phone calls. So we made representations to the Chief Justice. We said that at least some important cases should be listed. Thereafter, bail matters and other matters used to be listed. Now, in the meanwhile, what they did is they have inaugurated a new e-filing portal system, which was inaugurated by the Honorable CJI, in which the filing is very easy. The advocate on record will get the pleadings, whatever pleadings they have filed, that will be on the internet. The other person who files, that is also on the internet. Every data is there. So it is a very easy process. Now, what we have done is today, as on today, 9 courts are functioning and around 200 cases are listed per day. The Supreme Court has also arranged for a special room for video conferencing for lawyers who don't have the access to this facility. Moreover, a separate room is also there to watch the proceedings. The same is used by the media persons, which will be used by the clients in the coming future. There are other dedicated helpline numbers which has been on the internet and it has been used by lawyers with regard to e-filing, refiling, benching of matters. Everything is there. So these things the Supreme Court is doing. Now recently on 12th of June, they've issued a notification saying that the registrar court as well as the chamber judges would also sit from 15th of June, and that would mean that the completion of pleadings and other small bail matters, curing of defects, other things would be done by them. So these are the things which have been done by the Supreme Court.
Perfect, sir. I would now request Mr. M. Bhaskar to take over. Madras High Court, as very many of you may or may not know, had tried physical hearings. I'm sure Bhaskar Saab will give us an update on how it turned out. Bhaskar Saab.
Yeah, good evening, everybody. See, in fact, Chennai is a red zone. It's like a hotspot. Every day, the COVID cases are on the rise. Yesterday, all over Tamil Nadu, 2,000 cases reported positive cases, of which Chennai alone, it is around 5,500 cases. While the situation is like this, the High Court is of not of the view to open for physical hearing. But on the other hand, most of the advocates, members, youngsters, they want physical hearing. Even today, in City Civil Court, I am told that some judges got infected with this virus. That City Civil Court is very well in the complex of the High Court. So physical hearing is totally ruled out in the High Court complex. Then There are, but then what about the younger advocates who are, in fact, the one I can say 3 instances where, where initially when the lockdown was imposed, from our association, we started a trust, and through the trust we tried to give some money to the youngsters. And initially we gave some money, about 7,500 rupees to each of the youngsters in the rural area and also in the city. And somehow this message spread out, and I got a call from a lady advocate who is practicing in Tiruvallur High Court through the video call, and she said that she doesn't have the money to buy milk even for her 3-month-old kid. This is one incident. Another incident where I sent about 5,000 rupees to a younger advocate who is a bachelor in Triplicane area in the center of Chennai. He sent a message saying that, Secretary sir, but for your money, I would have committed suicide. This is the second incident. And the third incident is, one advocate has gone to his native place and started his native business, weaving the basket from the bamboo wood. That is this what you call the situation for the youngsters. But then when here in the High Court, the situation is, I mean, the situation in Chennai is worse in such a way that physical court is almost has come to an end. Unless the situation improves, or or the pandemic comes under the control, the physical hearing is only a dream. That's what for the moment I can say. Because I got so much to say about the youngsters. Youngsters are starving. Almost they are starving. See, and one more thing I would like to say, the government, both the central government as well as the state governments, are almost turning a blind eye to the our peoples. I don't know why. They are giving so much of concession, incentives to all peoples in our profession, except a few who are all well off. Other peoples are suffering like anything. So something has to be done. For time being, I'm just stopping here. Others can talk. I'll come back again.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar Saab. We will now go on to Jitinji to talk about Guwahati, which has evolved a rather hybrid system where, in a manner of speaking, you could go so far as to say there is a degree of physical hearing. Jitinji will explain, coming straight from Guwahati.
Yes, good evening, everyone. As per the Guwahati High Court is concerned, we are going through the virtual court, but the virtual court in Guwahati is some extent different from other parts of the India, other parts of the country. Here in Guwahati, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
We can hear you, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Here in Guwahati, the courts are sitting in the their chamber. The advocates are going to the courtroom, and in the courtroom itself, the cameras are there, the video monitors are there. So from the courtroom itself, we are arguing the cases, but the judges are sitting in their chamber. So that way there is no direct face-to-face argument, but it's a video conferencing just from the courtroom itself. So we have functioning more than 10 courts from April 20. From April 20, almost 10 courts are running. Every court there are 30 to 40 cases are listed every day. Most of the cases are obviously bail matters, and the new motions, all kind of motions are now listed for hearing. So the first half they are taking 20 to 15 to 20 cases. In the second half, they are taking 15 to 20 cases to reduce the gathering of advocates in the courtroom. So here there is no the question of infrastructure of the junior advocates or the advocates of first generation is not there, because the court is providing those facilities in the courtroom. But as of now, the COVID-19 patients are increasing in Guwahati, most of the lawyers now saying that if possible, the court may be closed down for at least 15 to 20 days. Now there's just 15 days back, there was a demand that physical court may be recalled, but now there are some demands that at least for 15 days the lockdown may be strictly followed in the high courts and the courts may be closed down. However, though the high court is running in Guwahati to some extent, but the trial courts in Assam are in pathetic condition. No trial courts are running properly. Now the Honorable Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court has directed this district and session judge to take necessary steps, whether the courts in the lower courts, the cases can be heard by video conferencing. Obviously, there are some rules and regulations framed by the Honorable Chief Justice of Guwahati High Court, who has said that those persons whose cases are listed, only those advocates whose cases are listed, there will be cost list for trial court also, and the advocates whose names are there in cost list, and the clients whose cases are there on that particular day, they may be allowed to enter in the courtroom, and there it will be argued, case will be argued. But that is not functioning well, because in trial court there is no such facilities as there in the Guwahati High Court. So we in the Guwahati High Court, though we have demanded on 26 Feb 2020 that physical court may be recalled and the virtual court may be abolished for the time being, but here it is not such. There is no such problem as in facing by the other parts of the country. However, the advocates of our association, the advocates of this part of the country, are saying that the physical court is not alternative of the virtual court is not the alternative of the physical court. So what they want, still they are demanding that though some cases are listed, but physical court may be recalled.
I understand. Thank you so much, Jitinji. Now we would like to go on to the second limb of our web seminar, and this is where things get a little interesting. What we have seen all panelists come up with is that it seems that the legal community per se on this issue has been unable to reach a consensus. There are individuals almost equally split right down the middle who want physical courts to continue, and there are also individuals who believe that in the current circumstances it is just too dangerous for our courts to start functioning again. I would now like to go through with the panelists, of course, as to why they think this is. Why is it that our community of lawyers has been unable to come to a singular consensus? Is it because of the economic differences that are inherent in society and amongst advocates? Is it because of some other reason? So I would now again start, and we'd ask Percy sir to take the lead to try and make sense of this 50-50 split.
So it has got something to do with what kind of a money cushion you have under your ass. But it's not really that. I actually think that this is a question of how people deal with risk. There are those of us who are able to manage risk. There are those of us who are not, who are averse to risk and therefore try risk avoidance. actually you will notice, I think I'll be proved right in the next 6 months, that's the start physical hearing, stop physical hearing is not an epidemiological problem or an administration problem. It is a problem between our ears. That is to say, it is a problem of how we think. Just cast your mind back to the really like good boys and girls. We accepted the PM's shutdown. By the time the shutdown ended, everybody was at the end of their tether and they were willing to go for opening up regardless. Now, why did that happen? At that time, there were very few cases and now there are huge cases. I think we got used to a new reality. And some of us processed that information. We understood that this is a dangerous virus. It is probably, I give a personal example. It's probably as dangerous as getting on a motorcycle like I do and riding up to Delhi. I've done that very many times and come back from there and I go riding in Rajasthan or in the rest of Gujarat. And it's about as dangerous as riding a motorcycle, very fast motorcycle on Indian roads. In other words, I do not avoid that risk. My friends would probably go by car or fly. I will go by a motorcycle. So my mindset is that I understand the skill set I have. I know the dangers I face, and I will take steps to avoid that or manage that. So the first reason, Abhimanyu, why we have this schism and the difference of opinion is different people deal with risk differently. As I said, the other reason is, of course, what kind of money cushion they have. The other point I want to make is that my friend from Guwahati talked about this, that judges sit in chambers and lawyers come to the court. Cast your mind back. We are all practitioners in different courts, mostly the superior courts, constitutional courts. We don't get within, literally, we don't get within spitting distance of the judge. Nobody gets within spitting distance of the judge. Well, we are standing here, bench clerk hai, itni jagah hai, then lordship or ladyship are sitting 3 feet above and 10 feet away from you, and you are gala bhaad ke tum bol rahe ho. Tumhara particulate matter wahan nahi pahunchne wala. So the problems in our virtual system, at least in Gujarat, are that we have a really weird filing system. The filing system is I make a petition, I gather all the documents, then I scan everything, I upload it by this crummy email to the High Court website, then wait for this. They take a print there because the judges refuse to read the electronic file. They take a print there, they prepare a pro forma and hand it to their lordships. This takes a lot of time. So the circulation of matters has become a bone of contention. And jiska behtar email, uska behtar circulation, or this is into inverted commas, as it has been alleged by somebody, that those who are the favorites get their matters circulated easily. The fact-finding authority, I must add, established by the High Court, 3 honorable judges, have said that there is no such irregularity. But anecdotal evidence is available with each of us, to whom young lawyers come and say, "Saab, 20 din ho gaye, 25 din ho gaye." Matters are just not being circulated for the first order. So there is a difference between those who are enabled, and I say this into inverted commas, who are able to manage the system and who are able to deal with this electronic nonsense. We also have to learn quickly. There are some who have not been able to learn that. So money, what kind of cushion they have, their ability or their willingness to manage risk, and their ability or their willingness to learn new technologies are what decide they divide the bar associations down the middle.
Percy, we'll now go on to Mr. Sood. Same question, Sood Saab. Why is there this rift between the advocates?
As Mr. Percy sir has also said, we also are going through a similar situation here in Punjab and Haryana High Court. Because as I told you, now the matters, if I say now 400 matters are also being listed, just imagine where we are having about 20,000 matters being listed every day, which has come down to 400. And now the first generation lawyer, he is struggling the most during this time. I myself is a third generation lawyer, so I can't even imagine how a first generation lawyer is going through this situation. See, for video conferencing, it's very easy to say that cases are being increased from 400 to 500. I say if to 1,000 cases also. But there's a minimum infrastructure which is required for video conferencing. A young lawyer needs a laptop, a good internet connection. Like I'm in a webinar, if the electricity goes away, I'm gone. It gets disconnected. So you need a certain kind of infrastructure which during this time of distress, you cannot enforce upon a lawyer. For that, what little we could do as an association, we've made few video conferencing centers because it's a tri-city just like Delhi. So we've made one in Panchkula, one in Chandigarh, one in Mohali, and one in the library of the High Court. So we are trying to see if what happens is I was hearing the Guwahati High Court, and I was really impressed that some kind of a physical hearing is going on. But when he concluded, he said that the lawyers are agitating that physical hearing should be stopped. So that's why we have suggested that a trial of physical hearing should take place. So I thought the lawyers there must be very happy since some kind of a physical hearing taking place, but to the contrary it is. It is a situation where both the lives and the livelihood needs to be protected. What is to be done? There is no harm. Like we are here lucky in Punjab and Haryana. I must say the situation is not that bad here. As far as the COVID cases are concerned. Today I was studying, we have about 600 something cases active in Punjab, about 3,000 cases in Haryana, and 176 cases in Chandigarh. Now the difficulty is we have suggested very firmly that a trial basis of physical hearing should go place for a simple reason. Like if only 5 matters be listed in 2 benches, so whenever the situation improves, and the courts have to start, we have a layout plan for that. And as I agree with Percy sir, that yes, we also created a Punjab and Haryana High Court disaster management fund. And a lot of lawyers have contributed for young lawyers also. But being a lawyer, you have that ego also that you don't want to beg for money. You don't want to come forward that I need money. That is the problem here also. Imagine in a family of 10,000, we had only 300 applications, out of which 110 people are eligible. So it is difficult time for the young lawyers, but I would suggest that there is no harm in giving a try to the physical hearing here in the Punjab and Haryana.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sood. We'll now go to our treasurer, Mr. Jain. Same question, Jain Saab. Why the split and what are the reasons?
Anuji, what has happened is the lawyers are not financially secured because see they only depend on the functioning of the courts. If the court is not functioning, the clients are not coming. And as far as the apex court is concerned, that is the last court of it. So it is not very like the junior lawyers hai. Jab tak the clients are also not comfortable with virtual courts because they also know that sometimes there's a glitch. The sound is not coming, the video is not coming, the code is like abhi awaaz nahi aa rahi hai. That's a lot of problem. So they don't want to take a chance. So they are not coming to the lawyers. They don't have money. As an association, we had also launched a COVID financial scheme, in which we decided to give 10,000 to A1 as well as SCB members. So we have given to 200 people, but that's not the solution. We had written to the CJI for functioning and for physical opening of courts. 7 judges committee totally refused. They said that they'll review it after a month on 30th June. It's very difficult for lawyers to survive. And see, now what they are doing is they want everything. Now the pattern for filing of cases in the Supreme Court suddenly changes. They want A4 pages. They want back to back. It is very difficult for them to get all these things. For scanning those petitions, you need a scanner. That is also very expensive. And nowadays, photocopy is also not available due to this pandemic. So a lot of problem is being going on. So as a person speaking, certain amount of physical court should be open. Now, judges also, they are sitting in the Supreme Court premises in the courtroom. So at least certain amount of lawyers should be allowed, so that physical with social distancing, registry is opening, 50% of the staff is coming. So why can't the lawyers go and argue the cases before the Supreme Court? That's my humble submission, that they should go. Certain amount of physical court should open.
Thank you, Jain Saab. Mr. Bhaskar, may I now request you to
Yes, sir.
comment on
Thank
the
you,
same
Mr.
issue?
Tiwari. In fact, I would like to go with Mr. Jain, because some amount of physical hearing should be there. But in Chennai, it is a hard spot and you are in the red zone. So opening of the High Court for physical hearing is nearly shut down. But still, see, majority of the advocates from the lower court depends upon the physical court for their regular income. One, then the infrastructures. See, so some of the advocates are most of the younger advocates find it difficult to buy the laptops or the infrastructures for their virtual courts. And virtual courts are good only for motion cases or urgent hearing. What about the final hearing cases? People are waiting in the queue for final hearing cases where, since original side appeals, we got volumes of papers, and that cannot be displayed in the virtual courts. So some amount of physical court should be there. But then, as repeatedly, I'm saying that Chennai is in a very hot spot, and every day it is on the rising side. I don't think our chief will open the High Court for a physical hearing, at least for the time being, unless the pandemic comes down under the control. But still, our advocates, our members are saying that when registry is working half of their strength, but following the every mandate as issued by the Ministry of Health Affairs, why don't the advocates can enter the courtroom? But still, I am told that even some of the judges are infected with COVID viruses. That being so, the opening of the court for physical hearing is definitely not for near future.
Thank you, Bhaskar ji. Mr. Jitin, are you still there?
Yes.
Jitin ji, would you like to comment on the same issue as to why is there a divide amongst the bar? Why is it that half the people want physical hearing to happen and the other half don't want it to happen?
The fact is that actually it's differ from man to man. Their thinkings, the difference of thinkings are there, obviously. There are some other issue also, because we have to admit in our bar associations and bars, there are political issues too. So obviously there are some issues which differ from each other, and but I'm not exactly saying all these things, because one thing we have to remember, the junior lawyers, they're suffering. Obviously they're suffering, and due to this pandemic, as the other suppose the night curfews are there in Goa, Assam, night curfews are there, the hotels and restaurants are closed, no persons can come to the come to court or to visit the lawyers from far away, because they cannot come at night. And even in daytime, if they come, they have to stay somewhere in Guwahati or somewhere in the proper in some hotels in Guwahati. Those facilities are not there. So clients cannot come to the clients are not coming to the courts, not only for the purpose that the court is running a virtual court. Therefore, I just I said I have given a statement in the news, various media, that the High Court is functioning. There is an impression among the people that High Courts are not functioning. High Court is not functioning. So I have given a statement that High Court is functioning, though in restricted manner. High Court is functioning. So as High Court is functioning, you can come and you can do all kind of cases. You can do all kind of cases, whatever it may be. Either it's service matter or land matter or any kind of company matters or tax matters, but it will take 6 to 7 days after numbering of the case. So I have given the statement in the various media. Now that's why there is an impression outside the courts that the courts are closed down, no works in the of courts are going on. So that impression is among the people.
Thank you, Jitinji. Thank you so much. Now, before we go on to our final,
Are always there.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jitinji. So now, before we go on to our final round, in which I would request each of the panelists to comment on the merit and on what they think is the merit and demerit of physical hearing. I believe we have covered a fair amount of it already. There is one more aspect which somehow has not been touched on, and is something that I have been thinking about in the last couple of days, which is to look at our legislative infrastructure. Now we have something called the Essential Services Act, which has been pressed into service from time to time. There is no doubt an inherent fear and an inherent risk, as Percy G and all the other learned panelists have talked about, with regards to physical opening of courts. But the question is, to prevent constitutional and fundamental rights, is it not a risk that every lawyer undertook to take when they donned the mantle? I mean, the police, for example, aren't running around saying we can't do this. I was lucky enough to have experienced the birth of my first child during the pandemic. The doctors were not running around saying, I'm sorry, we can't do this. Again, as I said, this comes from a layman's perspective. The question is, do we think we are headed to a circumstance where if a miracle vaccine is not found, are we headed towards a paradigm where we all accept that risk and eventually say enough now? I mean, if it happens, it happens. Anyways, this is something to ponder over. I would now request the panel to go around one last time to give closing statements and the merits and demerits they think of both perspectives, because I repeat again, both perspectives are inherently valid perspectives and are perspectives shared by vast amount of demographs that our leaders represent. So Percy Ji, back to you.
So Abhimanyu, we checked when the coronavirus hit the UK, they came out with a piece of legislation. I don't know what they call it. It's an Act of 2020, where one of the things made very clear is that the judicial system is an essential service and that it must go on no matter what. Now, any study of our constitution will say that it is one of the limbs of the state, and you cannot possibly say that yaar mujhe thodi dikkat ho rahi hai, so I don't think I'm going to start working right now. You will have to bloody well bite the bullet or chew the virus or whatever it is, whichever metaphor you want to use, and get cracking. The lockdown was a means for you to clear your mind space and get used to a new reality. It was not the solution. It is never the solution. And I ask all of you to ask all of those who either want a lockdown to continue or want reopening. To those who want a lockdown to continue, I ask one simple question. I say this, and I have said this to my friends, to the learned judges in our discussion, that if you don't want to open up now, because Ahmedabad is also a hotspot, you don't want to open up now, I get it. I get that you are scared. So tell me, what metric will it take for you to say, now it is safe? You, President of my bar, Chief Justice of my court, Chief Justice of India, Chief Minister of the state, can say, maybe courts will open when no new cases are there. Or courts will open when the doubling rate goes to 100. Or courts will open when the death rate goes down to less than 20. You fix a metric. You are the administration. We have voted you to power, or you're sitting there. Indirectly, you are appointed by the elected being. You fix a metric, but you bloody well fix it. You can't say, not now. My biggest problem with the lockdownists is this, that they are unable and unwilling to fix a metric which they can say, no problem. You open it after Diwali, but you fix a metric. Either time, or the spread of the disease, or some such quantifiable number or numbers whereby you can say that I have stopped making a subjective decision and I am basing my decision upon objective fact. Till we do not identify a metric of opening, the problem of lockdown will always be a problem of lockdown versus opening up. It should not be. My life is as precious to me as it is to the most scared man who is not getting out of his bedroom. Please disabuse yourself of the notion that the judge's life is more precious than my life is precious to me. Our lives are precious to each of us. But those people in positions of decision-making power will have to fix a metric whereby they say, we will open in September. Fine. Say that and get done with it. Or say we'll open when X number is reached. But you cannot say this ad hocism. 4 ghante ke baad lockdown. And then how do we extend it? The lockdown was imposed, probably not thinking it through, and we are continuing it. My friend Mr. Bhaskar from Chennai also talked about cases are increasing. Of course, cases are increasing in Ahmedabad also. But today I took my car and my mask and drove all over the city. And believe me, the world is leaving the courts behind. If injustices are not sorted out by the courts, alternate dispute resolutions, into inverted commas I am using, alternate dispute resolutions will take over, and I who like cooking, I have to start a restaurant. Somebody likes webinars, will have to do that, and we will wither away on the branch, and like autumn leaves, we will one by one just fall away. The judges don't realize this. Their red light, their cloistered existence will become an anachronism, because the judges, unfortunately, by their fear, are deliberately giving up jurisdiction. What is closure but giving up of jurisdiction? They give up jurisdiction by saying not this. They should say no. There is a howitzer attack on my picket, but I am still going to fight. That is what the judge must do. That is what the lawyer must do. And please, as I said, my life is precious to me. Rohit's life is precious to him. Nikhil's life is precious to him. He doesn't want to be infected and go home and infect his children. He will take responsibility. You take responsibility for your actions. We will take responsibility for ours. But fix a metric. This is what we must ask our administrators. That we will not open till July. Okay. But on 1st of July, you please tell me, will we ever open? If not, okay, then Dhaba, Baba, whatever it is. If we are going to open, when will we open? And when achieving X, what will we achieve when we will open? Take the decision out of subjective fear and into objective facts. This is not a detention order. Then you have subjective satisfaction. I am satisfied. That is crap. Therefore, please talk to everybody and say, fix a metric and stick to that metric. Thank you.
Sir, we'll open the restaurant and put the name of Tiwari's name, sir.
Yes, I make very good
पार्टी सर मेरे को भी थोड़ा बहुत खाना बनाना आता है जी if you consider opening a ढाबा मेरे को भी बुला लेना
Okay, on to Mr. Sood. Sorry.
I've gotten up every morning at 6:30 and cook for my family. By 8:30 I am free. It's a wonderful feeling. बहुत मजा आता है. Sorry, that's my personal observation.
Going on to Mr. Sood, same question, Sood
I
sahab.
completely agree with Percy, sir. It's true that life is precious, but so is sustenance. That's why our bar association is urging that at least do a trial run. And like I see Mr. Percy, he likes to play on the front foot. We have 56 judges, so I'm sure the judges who are also wanting to play on the front foot and are willing for physical hearing, they should at least start with it. Because see, you have administrative committee.
Rohit, sorry, in Karnataka, there are some judges doing physical hearing and some judges who are not.
That's why, sir, I think either option should be given. See, everybody is to its own. I might be very scared of it. You may not. You are willing to face it. So it's like we have 56 judges. Only administrative committee consists of 6-7 of them who takes a decision for everyone. So at least the people who are willing to take a chance, the physical hearing should start. And as I told you, we are here in Punjab and Haryana, we are much better off than Delhi and other states, as what I see in the media coming up in Delhi, that the banquet halls are being taken due to shortage of beds, the hotels are being taken. I don't know how true it is, but it seems to be quite bad. And it is also correct for Percy sir to say for how long. See, everybody has a limit of sustenance, of resistance, and of frustration also. So this bubble will soon burst. If my bubble would burst after 15 days, maybe Mr. Tiwari's bubble would burst after 1 month. Mr. Percy sir may feel frustrated after 5 days. You are used to going to courts. Some people having a practice of 50, 60 years, it's just like a habit to them to go to the court. You are not going to the court. The cases are not being listed. And this criteria of utmost urgent cases is alien to me. You ask a litigant, for example, we say somebody's execution, it is not urgent. Somebody who has not got possession for 15 years and he is still suffering and gets a date for 6 months. Be in his plight. So this utmost urgent case, nobody can decide what's urgent for whom. A FAO, somebody who has to get a claim, some compensation is to be increased. It will be of utmost urgency for them than like a bail in a 302 or 307 case. So this has to start. A SOP is to be there. I completely agree. If not now, after 15 days, there should be a specific thing that yes, if the mortality rate comes to this, or the cases come down to this, or the criteria what is to be laid, once that target is achieved, the courts will start physical. So here I
thank you.
Come back to you.
Thank you, Rohit. Nikhil ji, same question. I think we are moving towards a situation where Percy ji's suggestion is now being adopted, at least in our individual capacities.
I also agree with Percy, sir. See, virtual courts, it's a temporary solution, which we have to accept right now. But we have to think about the future, since there is no likelihood of vaccination in the coming future. And as far as, see, now the unlock 1 has started. Government offices are open. The malls are open. Religious places are open. Then why? The court should be no exceptions to it. They should be open. Now you see the virtual courts, they cannot be a substitute for physical hearing matters. Like you also appear in a number of matters in Supreme Court. If there is a batch matter, you can't argue before the Honorable Court through virtual hearing, or in a matter where number of parties are there, you can't argue it. It's very difficult. And you can see the appeals of 2001, 2000, around 2005, they are pending. So it is a no. What I feel is you fix some time that these courts should be open. We have 17 courts in Supreme Court. At least 5 courts with social distancing, they can open with limited number of matters. At least people can come and argue their cases. 10 matters, 20 matters. They should start at least. See, people are suffering here. They don't know. They are sitting in AC chamber. They don't know. People are suffering. They don't have money. Literally, see, we as office bearers daily receive phone calls that they don't have money. They don't have money to pay their rents. It's very difficult. It's a very difficult situation which is going on. And without physical opening, they would not survive.
Thank you, Nikhilji. Mr. Bhaskar, going on.
Yes, Mr. Tiwari. Before that, I think Mr. Rohit is a very good cricket player, because he said some of the judges are taking the front foot. See, now this epidemic is not for India alone, for the whole world. Now the world leaders have started saying that you live with that. So that being the situation, see, as Jain said, malls have open, shops have open, even liquor shop have started. Then why not the high court?
Thank God. हमारे यहाँ तो prohibition है.
Not for you, Percy sir. Not for you.
I have to go to the permit room. Sorry. Please continue. Bhaskar, please. Sorry.
No. What I'm saying is, some of the members are asking these questions to me. See, now we call it a TASMAC here, and TASMAC shops are open. Why not the high court? Of course, not in Chennai. TASMAC liquor shop is not open in Chennai. That is why I'm repeatedly saying that in Chennai, it's being a red zone, and we are in every day the cases are increasing. We can't open the high court. But then still, I agree with Percy, Jain, as well as Rohit, that someday we have to see the light of the day. We can't endlessly say that only virtual court and no physical courts. We have to start the physical court at some point of time with all the precautions. Maybe next month or 2 months later. Somehow it has to be open. And personally, not as a secretary, as a Bhaskar, as advocate, first generation lawyer, I think physical court should be the order of the day. Not today or tomorrow, someday. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaskarji. Jitinji, if you could come in with your closing statements and also comment on what you...
Yes. Mike, that my viewpoint is that obviously life first, but we have to think about the advocates also. Advocates and litigants are not getting the proper justice. The litigants are not getting the proper justice, and advocates, their earnings has been, that means earnings, in case of earnings, they are sufferer. So epidemic, we have to think about our life obviously, but we have to think about the litigants, about our junior lawyers too. So the virtual court is obviously not the alternative of physical court. So we demand from our association that the physical court should be started immediately, because only colleges, only offices and the malls, markets are opening now. So why only in case of advocates and the courts? Because we in Guwahati, we are going to the courts. The lawyers are going to the courts. The judges are sitting in their chamber. The distance between the judges and the argument dock, chair of the judges and the argument dock, is about 15 to 20 feet. So I don't think that if the lawyers can go to the court for arguments, why not physical court? Because it's the difference between the judges sitting this argument dock and the chair of the judges are 15 to 12 feet. So I don't think this distance, the coronal travel this 15-20 feet distance. It's just as per the World WHO, it's 1 meter distance we have to maintain the social distancing. So we have demanded that it can be done in Guwahati High Court, because Guwahati High Court, we have some good infrastructure obviously, but the Honorable Chief Justice has said, Guwahati High Court, Honorable Chief Justice of our High Court says that as the Supreme Court has been functioning in a virtual manner, we cannot go beyond that. That is the argument of our Honorable Chief Justice. But still we demand, we also urge my learned other colleagues from the different associations and the Supreme Court Bar Associations to take a strong step and urge our demand to the Honorable Chief Justice of India to function the physical court instead of this virtual court. Otherwise, the high courts, the chief justices of high courts, they're not going to do that. If the Supreme Court doesn't start, the other high courts,
Very true.
they're not going to do that. That is my point.
Thank you, Jitinji. Thank you to all the panelists as well for giving us their time. We'll be ending the seminar soon. I hope there has been a certain amount of collaboration. There are certain suggestions which I had actually not thought of. So it's a learning experience, and again, I hope this will bring about a degree of clairvoyance in all of us, the panelists and the attendees. Thank you all, and you can catch our next web seminar next Friday, where we'll be discussing section 214, article 214 of the Constitution. We'll be joined by Mr. Siddharth Luthra, Mr. Chetan Mittal, and Advocate Srimati Eliza Bar, on whether it is imperative for each state to have its own high court, or whether high courts can in fact be shared between different states. Thank you all. Stay safe.
Abhimanyu, can you send the link of this recording on the WhatsApp group?
I will. The
Thank
recording will be on the WhatsApp group, and you can also, anyone who is listening can see the recording at our website, tiwariandassociates.com. So that will be done.
Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much,
It's been a pleasure.
Abhimanyu. Thank you, everyone.
Good day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.